We're here at EvokeAg with Alex Paul from Rural Analytics. Alex, there's a couple of dynamics at work here. Tell me, what are you finding, and what are the imperatives that are coming out of EvokeAg in relation to farmers?
So I think, Terry, one of the critical things we're seeing is this whole new ecosystem of AgTech and food tech, or the agri-food tech environment, that basically many people across Australia that are engaged in agriculture are just completely unaware of. So as a producer, a red meat producer, there's this whole quantum of change coming from agri-tech and from biotech and other areas, and it's just starting to really have a big impact on us, and we're probably quite oblivious to where those impacts are really going to end up. And more importantly, how do we come engage with some of the really exciting technologies that are coming not only out of Australia but also globally, and the global footprint is going to be really important for us to think about.
Are you seeing many farmers here, and what are they telling you about what they're seeing at EvokeAg?
I think we're seeing some producers here, but not as many as I thought there could have been. But it is a different environment. It's more focused on the agri-techs and the agri-businesses and engaging all those areas. But what I would encourage people to do is think about the next phase of EvokeAg and where they might be engaged with, because I can tell you this whole revolution, the food revolution, is starting to really impact on Australian agriculture, and this globalisation of food production is really going to have a major impact, particularly on extensive livestock production, and we're just completely unaware that juggernaut's coming, and it's coming at a rapid rate.
And what could happen if farmers' crop or mixed livestock don't get their head around this?
I think the important thing that came out of EvokeAg over the last couple of days is that the revolution around food and how people perceive food in the future is really going to drive agricultural practices, and consumers are going to drive what's required out of agriculture, and particularly for extensive livestock production systems. If you're not geared into those particular consumer requirements of the future, some other part of agriculture, be that in Australia or across the world, is going to take on that particular supply of food to those consumers. And we've seen new technologies emerging, the whole idea about 4D foods and those type of things. So not only can they produce food that looks like meat or looks like some of our agricultural production, it tastes exactly the same and has the same impact. So we're going to have to really think about how do we compete in that globalisation. Now, Provenance and clean green images and efficiencies and all those other areas are just part of that trading mechanism to look at that.
How should farmers get a start?
I think they need to be aware of what's coming out of EvokeAg. There's a lot of accelerators, a lot of incubators emerging in rural Australia. Go to your state governments, go to your federal governments, go to your RDCs and start to see what's actually happening in that area. But more importantly, start looking at the internet and start looking at outcomes coming out of like these conferences to see exactly what's going to be the future. And I think being aware is being forearmed, and in this case, having really good knowledge that something's coming is a first step in a long journey of discovery.